BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. Come on, the BigFooty Blues.
Hey, thank you so much for dragging yourself out from under your bed and joining us once more for the 2015 BigFooty Blues Podcast, Episode 10. Joining me in my misery, it's ShanDog.
Hello.
happydude, and BlueBelle is back again.
Hello, everybody.
So happy to be here.
I'm really, really happy. I picked the right week, didn't I?
Guys, good on you for actually coming in. I don't know how much lower we can go, but look, I'm not gonna talk about the game just yet. Let's just do a little bit of Blues news.
Blues news.
Well, Blues news, but it's also a little bit of board talk and a little bit of talk about BigFooty Blues. First thing I've got to do is, as I did on the boards during the day, is give some kudos to the club. I mentioned last week on the podcast that we had approached the club, ShanDog and I, looking for access to players for our podcast, and we hadn't heard anything back, and we were a little bit disappointed. And boy, do I look stupid, because we have heard back, and the club has granted us access to young players, one a month, to appear on our podcast, and we're looking forward to it. Not sure when it's going to start, but that is huge news for our podcast.
Woo!
Yeah,
Exciting
very
stuff.
exciting.
People power. I'm sure we flooded them with emails and calls.
They probably thought they needed to do something to sort of keep whatever small member base that they're going to have at the end of the year.
At this stage, I believe that players who don't get to play in the seniors get to come on the podcast, so they're all putting their hands up for the podcast at the moment. Anyway.
So it's not the Panther thread.
Look, other news around the club. A bit of talk that Carlton have approached James H. You want to hear that?
It was we heard that, but wasn't that slapped down by both H's manager and some Carlton staff?
I think it might be slapped down in the sense that we didn't actually approach him directly, but that doesn't mean there isn't some talk going on with management behind the scenes. That story was pretty loud.
Yeah, I hope we have, because we need to start being more proactive in recruiting young talent, getting them to the club, because we constantly, year after year, see young players get picked up by other clubs because they're simply first to it and put a better offer forward than we do. We just sit on our hands and wait for the off-season.
I don't understand why clubs like denying this stuff anyway. I mean, we all know that it happens, and we kind of expect our teams to do it anyway, because what sort of stupid team, I know we're Carlton, what sort of stupid team wouldn't actually follow through with these sort of things and try and get into players' ears and stuff like that? So I just don't understand and it just fuels people as well. They go, oh, look, they're denying it, it must have happened. Who cares? It probably did, doesn't matter.
That's exactly what someone who would have done that would have said.
Yeah.
Liam Pickering confirmed it today, guys. He just said that Carlton hadn't spoken directly to him, as in to the player, but they'd definitely spoken to the manager.
Yeah, so it was semantics rubbish, and it's probably, it's
correct.
happened.
Yeah.
I read today a couple of things. I saw that Mark Murphy and Bryce Gibbs have fronted the media today, a bit of a show of unity. Both said, hey, we got 5-year and 4-year contracts, respectively. So obviously we want to stay.
No.
Basically, you can't get rid of us.
No, you gave us our money.
And they all
confirmed that too, that they didn't want to get rid of them too. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because they actually said that Mark Lejudice refused to rule out trading them when the actual wordings pretty much says we're not trading them. I also note that Emlo said that his advice to Mick would be to win some games. Doesn't that fly in the face of our rebuilding once again? Because that's just going to bring back in the older players and not play so many young players. So the mixed messages continue. The worse we get, the more mixed the messages become.
I wonder if Emlo wrote that down and put it in mixed suggestion box, win some games, because I don't know if that would have crossed his mind at some point during the pre-season.
I don't know. On another potentially positive note, Bailey Rice had another BOG in the TAC Cup. So going great guns. He's only at this stage in the Phantom Draft tipped to be sort of maybe a second rounder, but he's I think it's 2 best on grounds in a row. He's pulled off. He obviously has a choice between Carlton and St Kilda as far as father-son selection goes, being the son of Dean Rice, but grew up a Carlton supporter. So fingers crossed we may actually pick up a couple of extra. We've got a couple of father sons coming through this year, but we might be a way to actually get back in the draft and pick up a couple of players a little bit cheaper than they otherwise would be taken. So
long as they're good players, I don't care who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. I've avoided it long enough.
Oh, hang on. We've still got the story of the day.
Sorry. There's the news.
Story of the day.
What is going on with Captain Carlton and the?
I don't know if Captain Carlton was involved.
He probably it would make sense that he is.
Yeah, it was,
so breaking news. This is reading from the Fox Footy AFL Fox Sports website. The headline is Carlton's hovercraft flips into the Yarra River, is forced to be pulled out. Just the first paragraph here. And you thought Carlton's season had hit its lowest point. Well, now it's plummeted to new, despairing depths. Seemingly the only thing the Blues had going for them this year, the club's recently revived hovercraft, flipped while floating on Melbourne's Yarra River on Monday and had to be dragged to shore by machinery forces. And there are some lovely photos of the hovercraft being very unceremoniously removed from the water. And I love this. The very first comment on the article absolutely nails it, from some bloke named Andrew. Shout out to you, I'm sure you're listening. The symbolism really speaks for itself. Go Lions. It doesn't get any better than that.
It would if some players were on the back of it. Sorry, that's me being cheeky. I've had enough.
Yeah, the club making bad decision after bad decision. just when we couldn't make any more bad decisions outside of the draft, trade period, and match committee, we decided to put the hovercraft on the Yarra in gale force winds.
There's a picture of a crane pulling this thing out of the water. The only way it could be any better is if Captain Carlton is standing beside it on the phone to NRMA.
If his ankle's tangled in something, he's just dangling from the hovercraft.
How good!
Just when we thought we wouldn't make another turnover till round 7.
Oh!
He was trying to get away, just get in the Yarra and go.
Oh dear, just sit right back in here or two.
Yeah.
All right, time for the weekend wake.
This is the weekend wake.
So on Sunday afternoon at Etihad, Carlton mothers all decked out in their navy blue finest, looking forward with anticipation. Can't spread it any thicker than that. Carlton officially bottomed out, according to Mick Malthouse, when the winless Brisbane Lions overran us to win 12-12, 84 to 11-9, 75. Goals for Carlton: Casbolt 4, Bell and Murphy 2, Cripps, Judd and Jones singles. Bests named in the best for Carlton were Bell, Curnow, Judd, Gibbs, Doherty and Casbolt. Simpson was a late out of the side, and Clem Smith came in for a full game. How'd the young guys go?
Cripps continues to impress me.
That is all.
Clem Smith commits himself hard to the contest.
Yeah.
Which is also good.
There were a few positives.
Yeah, no, you can sit there and you can pick out a few positives in amongst the sea of negatives.
Okay, one major positive then. Okay, silver lining stuff. We could see it in the preseason, and he has been fairly consistent so far this year. But Tommy Bell has really arrived as an AFL midfielder. Accumulates possessions, kicks goals, leaves bodies in his wake. I'm really impressed with him. He's been a shining light for us.
He almost killed a guy.
He did.
So was it Robertson into the fence?
Yeah.
Yeah, glad he was all right.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no, his disposal has picked up heaps, Tommy Bell, and his awareness seems a lot better. He's not getting caught with the ball, which is great. I think that was clearly identified to him, something he needed to work on, because I think he's mentioned it in the media as well. But yeah, he's doing a lot of work around the ground and hitting the scoreboard, which is just fantastic, because a lot of people thought he had a lot of potential, and he seems to be showing it now, which is great. He's still inexperienced as well, so good for him. I'm glad.
Youngsters Mark Wiley, Patrick Cripps, and Glenn Smith were all charged with engaging in a melee at half.
Was that really a
Melee?
melee? Oh my god! I was sitting there watching it, and I thought that's got to be the weakest piss fight at halftime I've ever seen in my life, and it was really indicative of ours in the Lions season. The amount of effort that went into that melee was absolutely atrocious.
Well, I didn't really see who was involved in it. I wasn't really paying attention to the players involved, but I find it three very inexperienced players are the ones getting fined. They're flying the flag for Carlton.
Oh, I didn't even call it flying the flag. It was all a whole bunch of walking up to the opposition player and going, "What are you looking at?" That's all that happened. I can't believe there's any fines being laid in that.
Well, I mean, they've picked out fines for three of them, those three guys, and 3 or 4 Lions.
Deter them, I guess.
Their language must have been particularly offensive.
Oh yeah. Hey, you commenter!
No, they must have been the worst of the ones involved in it. That's all I can say. So not have been much, but. Obviously, the senior players weren't really interested. That
wet lettuce leaf pillow fight of a halftime brawl spurred something on in Brisbane.
Yeah, exactly.
So spurred something on into Brisbane because they went on. They'd won one quarter for the whole year before they played us. Oh, well, that was in round one. They won the third quarter, I think, in round one.
Wayne Boakhurst was okay. Let's get back positive again. This is sad.
Yeah, no, Boakhurst. I mean, but he copped some criticism after the game in our.
See, I thought that was a little unjustified.
I thought there was.
He really tried. He needs time to adjust to the pace at AFL level. Yeah, but he's got footy smarts, that's for sure. And he needs to back himself in a little bit more, I think. But he will at least be an AFL level footballer.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Unlike other people.
Look, he dropped an easy mark, and people remember that stuff, and they make that representative of the whole game, but then they forget about the rest of the effort. So,
kind of like Jones.
I remember Kernahan kicking a ball out on the full that he probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, he couldn't kick though. But
even the best.
Well, it's ShanDog. You're on a Liam Jones vent there, mate.
We were talking a little bit about this before we started the podcast as well.
Defender.
I'm not a Liam Jones defender. I like to think of myself as a Liam Jones realist. So encouraging.
The glass is half full is twice as big as it needs to be.
If you were a Liam Jones defender, ShanDog, you'd own him.
That's it. Well, look, I just think that people might be magnifying the negatives that he's shown. And I'm not saying he's had like a great game, but we've played 6 games this season. I'd say he's had good games or, passable games, 2, maybe 3 at a stretch. He hasn't he hasn't dominated a game at all. But this is where I think the little bit of realism's got to come into it. We were expecting him to be a third tall, he'd be there behind Kaz and Henderson, and he'd be leading out into space, and they'd be taking the grabs, and he might chip in with a goal or 2 a game. And I remember people at the start of the season saying, predict how many goals you think players will kick, and people were chalking him down for 30 or 40. As the vast majority of people were saying. In fact, and a lot of people were going lower than that. And he's probably tracking at that pace. There's parts of his game that he needs to pick up, and people, especially who go to the ground and post talking about work ethic off the ball and stuff like that. I could see a little bit of what they were saying from TV in the first few rounds. It looks like he's picked it up a bit to me. But I'm just sort of wondering whether our expectations are letting a bit of a group mentality run away and just create that whipping boy thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, Tan? Or
Go, hit me.
No, actually, just to bear out that work rate, he did actually. He was actually inside our defensive 50 at one point. We moved the ball forward. Jones was there on the inside, well inside our forward 50 to take the mark over the top, and they highlighted that. The commentary team highlighted that work rate coming up through the middle there. So he does have a work rate sometimes that you don't see, but as you said, it's just the stuff, the really noticeable stuff that we remember.
And I will say, for a 70 gamer, you do expect more, and I fully concede that as well.
Well, I was with you, ShanDog, up until yesterday, because when you're leading forward, you've got to put your hands out to mark the bloody ball, and he did not do that once yesterday. It's really frustrating. He runs to the wrong spot. So I just struggle to see that he can get a game with us. He couldn't even get a game with the Bulldogs last year, and they were terrible last year. I'm not sure how long you can persist with him as opposed to bringing in somebody else like a Holman or something like that.
He's probably getting by the fact that none of our forwards have got decent service at all as well. So they're probably taking that into account, saying, well, look, Jones is getting in the wrong positions, or he's dropped a couple that he should have taken, hasn't kicked straight, but you know what? He's only had the ball kicked to him 4 times in the game. So
that'd be good enough for me if we drafted him, or and we tried to.
Or he was 19.
We traded for this guy, like.
Well, we barely did. So.
Yeah, but still, come on.
Yeah, I understand the frustration.
He was bad before we got him. That's all I'm saying, and he hasn't done anything to change my opinion.
When you look at the likes of Bryce Gibbs kicking at about 50% disposal efficiency for the year or something like that, and he's usually our best ball user inside 50, and the fact that our forward line is always choked up, and we are bombing it on top of their heads. So the only player capable down there of actually taking a mark is Casbolt, because that's his strength.
Plus, Yaron was shut down his first couple of games and then suspended.
Yeah, Yaron's having the best season.
There's absolutely no place for a leading forward in our lineup. Not his fault completely, because we don't have a game plan that actually
suits that.
Yeah, but even when you see him on a ground playing with a team that does have a game plan that involves leading forward, like I watched him play last year, he isn't very good.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I've seen him play in a different environment. He's just not very good.
Happy Dad is labouring the point. Anyway, look, while we're talking tall forwards, I'm going to say something here. Levi Casbolt, leave him in the friggin' side.
Yep.
I agree.
Well done, Denham. I like Denham's game.
He's just...
That took me a minute.
That's it. He's a target. We don't have any others.
He's a target. He's structures. He'll actually go out beyond 50, 60, 70, and he'll take that mark so we don't break down across half forward. He's actually working around the ground when he's in the ruck, and actually, you know, I think at one point he came out and took a defensive mark out in front of the others. He reads the ball so well, and his kicking for goal has let him down, but he kicked 4 goals, so now and again he's actually going to get it right, and he's going to make a difference. Yeah, so I'm prepared to get frustrated by Levi kicking, but 0 goals, 3 behinds, and 4 out of bounds on a given night and losing a game that way, just for the fact that he's actually leading the whole AFL in contested marks.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and we can't take a mark apart from him to save ourselves. So just stop getting reactive to the one thing that he can't do, and look at all the other stuff that he does do as far as work rate and effort and passion. And boy, did he show a bit of passion.
He also showed that they have been working quite hard on his kicking technique. So well done to Sav Rocker and Carlton for finally getting someone in.
The ball drop looked a lot nicer.
He was a lot more compact in the movement. It all looked like it was a bit more fluid, straighter, had less moving parts, and looked much better. And he kicked them straight. Amazing.
Yeah, there were two words there that ODN brought up that remind me of something else that happened in the game, and that was when he said defensive mark. Why can't our backmen take a mark inside defensive 50? They've always got to punch it.
Yeah. Even
when there's no opposition player, or they can get 2 hands to the ball, they'd rather go the 2-fist punch than a grab.
Yeah, Rowe and Doherty have taken a few. Doherty more so. Rowe's taken a couple marks when he's floated
Yeah,
across in front, but too often it's
in
just
the
been
past they have,
Yeah.
but as of late, it's just not happening at all anymore.
I think Rowe might have got one that I can remember in the game just gone by. Maybe Doc got a couple as well. But yeah, otherwise they've just been...
They'd rather
playing
go
that
the two-fisted punch.
Yeah, that self-preservation mode, sort of don't want to take a risk, just get it out of my area sort of thing. And I think that's indicative of what the whole side's doing out at the moment on the field, and that's why we're not working together as a team.
Another one of our talls, Christian Jacks, he was pretty shaky. I'm not going to bag him out. This is the point we're making, and this is probably the point that Shan's making about Liam Jones. Christian Jacks is a third tall defender. He's got his training wheels on.
Yeah, he's got to learn. He's a kid. Like he gets heaps of leeway. He just some of his stuff he does reminds me of Bauer, but we'll see how
Jamison and Henderson out of that side.
Yeah, for sure.
So Rose not that experienced a backman. He's played there for 1 year, and Jack is having to hold down that other key post.
Just like Bauer did.
Yeah, exactly. It's throwing him under the bus a little bit by necessity. I think he improved a little bit in the second half. He started off pretty slowly, but and he ended up with 18 possessions. So he is getting the ball. Just a little bit nervous as far as holding his marks and the disposal skills that we know he possesses were a little bit off. But I'm more concerned about the likes of Andrew Walker. He's been woeful the two games since he's come back. He's my favourite player in the Carlton side.
And he needs to be dropped.
Oh well.
Where do you start with Walker? I mean, I know he's had an interrupted pre-season, but he just doesn't. He just looks lost out there.
Bad decisions too, and pre-season fitness doesn't help your decision making.
Yeah. Well,
why is he back down? Why is he down back again?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
maybe no Yaron.
Make him another target.
No Yaron, no Burn. They need players down there who can run and carry, I guess. But
who have we got up forward?
Jones.
I mean, Menzel was. Menzel's missing up forward. I mean, we're sending Cripps up there sometimes. Come on, you just keep Cripps in the midfield. I know he needs a bit of a spell, but rest him on the bench, not up forward. Get Walker up forward where he can do some damage, and if he turns it over, it's not going to hurt us.
I do see upside though in resting Cripps up forward because as a developing kid, it can give him a bit of goal sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be an extra quiver in his bow in his quiver. That one.
So then when the ball,
no?
as
How does it work?
Experience,
Ignore
if he develops more a goal sense, when the ball does drift forward as a midfielder, he could pick up a few of those goals for us.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Fife does a great job of taking the occasional mark in the forward 50 and kicking. Yeah, so if he can have that skill to his game as well, it'd be great. So I don't really mind it too much as long as we don't burn him out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but Walker can play as a specialist forward.
Yeah.
And when the big guys aren't taking their marks, he can manufacture something because he's pretty good at ground level usually. So
yeah, it feels like we're arguing though over where Walker should stand on the ground to not get possessions with the way he's playing. It doesn't matter if it's 0 up the back or 0 up in the forward 50.
Yeah. No, I just think. I mean, 2011 was his best year. Still,
it was a lot of our players' best year.
Yeah,
it's just so bad when you look down the player stats, and every time this happens, or every now and again when I look through some player stats and they list them by year, you get to Walker, and you see the goals column. There's like 10, 9, 4, 15, and then 2011 50 something, and then 2012 4. Like, why isn't he kicking 50 something? Put him forward. Yeah. It's very frustrating. Hey, but before we move on, I want to throw out one more kudos as well to someone we didn't mention actually, who does get a bit of a whipping on the board sometimes. What's his bloody name? It's Ed Curnow. Ed Curnow had a very good game. Didn't burn the ball so bad. Got plenty of it himself. Kept Rockcliffe very quiet. And whoever else he was playing on as well. So he did quite well, definitely be in the votes for that game. So good work, Eddie.
Yeah, absolutely. If your claim to fame is didn't burn the ball too bad.
Too much.
Well done, Ed.
And the other guy who happens to be playing on the team on the bottom of the ladder didn't get the ball too much either.
All right, when you put it like that, yeah.
Well done, Ed.
Can I ask something? Murphy and Gibbs, are they injured?
I've heard round the traps that Murphy's still got that knee thing.
Yeah, and the two of them, one disposal each in the last quarter. That is just terrible leadership. I'm sorry, but...
Look, okay, everybody was screaming for us to play the kids. See, season's over. We're going to rebuild. Play the kids. We play a lot of kids, and then what we see is half the kids are shit. Don't play the kids. So, people out there, make up your bloody minds, hey?
Yeah.
Can we play the
Pick
kids?
an argument and stick to it.
Can we play the kids and make them good?
Yeah, exactly.
Nick Graham started a sub again.
He needs to start on the ground every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, showed a bit of aggression when he came on. I know he was fresh and everything like that, but gee, he's been knocking down the door in the VFL. We keep promoting players who haven't been knocking down the door in the VFL, so not earning their call up, just to sort of shuffle the deck chairs on the Titanic a little bit. And Graham actually earned his spot, and he's a mature body, and he gets to be sub. I mean, and he's not a quick guy. He's going to come on and make a difference and sneak goals and stuff like that. He's a workhorse, and probably should have got a game maybe ahead of Wiley on form, I guess. But I don't want to single out Wiley. I think Wiley should be in the guts. He should be in and under. He shouldn't. I know they're trying to teach him something, but all they're going to teach him is how to destroy his own confidence he's been taken apart by Dane Beams and Scott Pendlebury the week before. It's not a great start for him, and he'd probably like to be, maybe going after his own ball than sort of giving away free kicks to those guys.
He's way too slow.
Yeah, but Wiley we're talking about, but
I wasn't sure if you. Yeah,
he's an in and under, and I think he'll come good, but he needs to be able to play his own game. We're just playing. Gee, how many players did we tag against the bottom team, and we put 4 or 5 tags on.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to pre-game pep talk.
Pre-game pep talk.
Saturday, 4:35 p.m. at Etihad. Carlton take on the might of Greater Western Sydney Giants. I don't know, guys. Possible ins. Yeah, save me here. Throw me a bone.
Simo, Menzel. Who else?
I'd like to see
Menzel.
Watson.
Is Yaron back? Yaron's got to be
Yeah,
back.
Yaron.
Yeah. Who goes out?
Just take a pick.
Jamison might be back.
Mighty?
Jamison's chance.
Awesome. I was going to say, if Jamison's not back and it's Rowe and Jack's back there again, I hope everyone got their tickets for the Jeremy Cameron show.
How many, speaking of them, GWS, they play with is it the 2 tall setup? McCarthy and, not McCarthy, sorry.
Twin Tower setup.
Yeah. So I don't see us necessarily bringing in a 3rd tall defender. So if Jamison is good to go and comes back in, then I dare say Jax will get dropped for him, or maybe perhaps sent forward if we're starting to
Jax
do some
needs to
weird
be played with
Jax needs to be
Jamison.
played. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, with someone experienced like Jamison. Even if he's like a bit taller than his direct opponent, like not the perfect matchup, he needs to be learning those sort of defending things.
Yeah.
Even if one of them goes loose, Jax needs to be playing with someone experienced like Jamison.
Yeah, I agree. We need a little bit of coverage.
What about Cruiser? Do they let him run around in the VFL again?
Yeah, he played most of the game. I think he came off halfway through the last quarter, and he had a decent game. So he might come in. I wouldn't bring him in, but just for change.
No rush.
Yeah, if they want to make changes for the sake of changes, they might bring him in. Otherwise, he's playing VFL again this week.
For this game, I wouldn't mind seeing Wiley dropped. I like to see a young player who comes in sort of get 2 or 3 games at least, but after not having such a great start.
I think he's had a taste. He needs to go back down, give someone else a go, and work on what he needs to work on at VFL level.
Yeah, and
it's probably a good way to put. That's what you wanted to say.
Yeah, same as Smith actually. Unless they're pretty confident that he can run out a full game again, because we know fitness is a bit of an issue for him, then I'd be happy to see him come out to bring in Menzel and sort of Yaron as well. The other one that I'd like to see in is Watson. I wouldn't mind having Watson, Kaz and Jones in the forward line. See how that works.
Who is get the job on Cameron?
Yeah.
Hopefully Jamison's back.
Yeah.
If not, Rowe's going to have to take it because Henderson's not in. Yeah.
Play ball enough?
Well, we don't really have another choice.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the midfield pressure. I think we put them on. If we can,
that too. We need to make sure he doesn't get as good delivery.
Yeah.
But Cameron's quite good as well. But he's not as athletic as Nick Riewoldt, and we've seen Jamison not keep up with Nick Riewoldt the whole time. But he gives him space when he knows he can give him space. That sort of footy smarts. We don't have anyone defending at the moment. But if Rowe knew how to do that, he could take Cameron as well.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all goes.
Yeah. Look, I think for sure we'll have 4 changes this week, at least. I'd say Jamison, Menzel, Yaron and Simo would probably be the ones that we're looking at. And unfortunately, it's going to be 4 younger guys that are probably going to make way, and that's going to upset the same people that wanted them in and then wanted them out. So
everyone's unhappy.
Well, it's this old Mother Hubbard thing that we've got going because the cupboard's bare and people keep thinking we're going to pluck somebody from the VFL that doesn't exist. Dylan Buckley was dragged before 3/4 time.
Yeah, don't drop him. He needs to get back into it.
Him getting subbed off was completely fair enough. I mean,
it was.
Yeah, but I agree that we need to give him more time. We need to get him on the ground more.
We know what he can do.
Yeah, look, he's one that's prepared to take the game on, and that sort of game, if you're not getting people that are actually supporting him and running for him and providing the options,
he'll do a world of good with Yaron back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody game to make a prediction?
I reckon GWS by 33, Jeremy Cameron to kick 9 because his best is 7 so far in a game.
I was going to say Jeremy Cameron by 3 goals.
Yeah. Jeremy Cameron will defeat Carlton 9-2. What's that? 56 to Carlton, like
8-1 or something.
8-3. Yeah.
You guys are depressing me. Bugger the prediction. All right, leave it there.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks for coming in. Thank you, BlueBelle. Good to have you back again.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully we can put a better performance forward next week, but we'll see.
Yeah. Liam Jones sends his regards. Happy dude.
Yeah, we'll see if you'll have me back next time.
And thank you as always, ShanDog.
No worries. Catch you all later.
See you guys. Bye.